Ahead tonight, the new employment numbers are out. Another police-involved shooting recorded in less than 24 hours. And the diplomatic corps bids well to a colleague. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts right now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
Unemployment stood at 15.7% when the last labor force survey was conducted back in November. That has changed. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Now, officials at the Department of Statistics are now saying unemployment is down by more than 3%. Cleopatra Murphy tonight breaks down the numbers.
Unemployment has hit its lowest in years, with figures falling to 12% nationwide. That's according to the latest labor force survey by the Department of Statistics released on Friday. The number is down significantly from the 15.7% unemployment recorded in November 2014. The survey that measures 6 months references April 27th to May 3rd, 2015. Director of Statistics Kelsey Dorset says factors such as Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival, the IAAF World Relays, and Baha Mar contributed to increased employment.
There would have been many persons who would have been engaged in making costumes and doing other preparatory work. Now we are quite aware that for some of those persons, they were second jobs, but apparently for quite a good number of them, this would have been persons who were not employed at the time.
The drop in unemployment comes despite a 1.4% increase in the labor force that totals 208,895 people compared to the previous 197,335. By island, unemployment on New Providence fell to 12%, on Grand Bahama 12.9%, and on Abaco 12.2%. Bearing in mind the special events, Dorset says unemployment could see an increase when the new survey is performed in November.
Anytime you have a special event going on, you will find that there more people become employed or enter the labor force. If that level is not sustained, if another big event doesn't come along, it is likely that that can happen.
Youth unemployment measured among 15 to 24-year-olds continued to be the highest at 25.3%, continuing a trend. It was a marked decline from the previous 31%. Statistician Cipriano Winters says discouraged workers also fell by 13%.
These persons, according to the standard definition of the International Labour Organization, adhered to by the Bahamas and most countries, including those of the Caribbean, United States, and Canada, are not considered unemployed as they did not meet the 3 criteria of unemployment, namely seeking work, willing to work, and able to work.
Also of note, the survey revealed that manufacturing experienced the highest employment increase at 21%, while 13% of the labor force is made up of non-Bahamians. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Tonight, we also continue our series on the overhaul of the public service. The Public Service Commission expressing concern, though, about the pace of service encountered quite often by those in government seeking appointments and promotions. Here's Betty Thompson-Moss.
This delay, which can take years in some cases, impacts employees in the various ministries and result in a high financial cost to the government. And for the Public Service Commission, this remains an issue. Chairman Father James Moultrie says, in some cases, the Commission is given the blame.
Even though they blame us for delays, it's not in here. If you send something here that you have done due diligence, it takes minutes to get it out of here. We don't dilly-dally because we know that the Commission is critical to the public service. So we don't keep things here And some ministries that will say it's with the commission, that's their way of passing the buck. Ain't really here. If it comes here and if it ain't properly done, we send it back. Do it properly.
To ensure delays are ironed out, a major push was made to confirm teachers and nurses who waited years for appointments.
If a person is appointed for 12 months, you're on 12 months probation. At the end of that, there should be some automatic request for that person to be confirmed in their post. So when we came in here, why are we waiting 7, 8 years? We have, since we've been here, we have confirmed so many hundreds of people, especially teachers and nurses.
The chairman of the Public Service Commission says setbacks of this nature could have a severe toll on the national budget.
You know what happens when you are reconfirming people for 10, 12 years? You know how much money you owe them? That's right. In this whole service? Millions.
To help propel reform in the service and bring about more efficient services, Father Moultrie says modernization is needed.
We need automation in the public service. We're in the age of technology, age of computers, where when I make an appointment today and I say 1 year from now I'm going to confirm you, the computer will tell me. But if you're doing everything by hand and paper, you could have delays. Sometimes that is what is responsible for the delays. I don't entirely blame it on paper, because the paper sits there, but you have to work on it.
Already discussions are underway on a broad range of changes that will take the public service to another level in terms of efficiency. Those recommendations when our segment continues. Betty Thompson-Moss, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Betty. Now to some crime news. Today, police officers shot and killed a wanted man in the Gamble Heights area shortly after 6 this morning. This, however, did not sit well with the residents of that shanty town where the man reportedly lived. Janaea Noel Ferguson tonight tells us that they resorted to destroying police property.
Police shot and killed a suspect deep in the bushes of a shanty town in the Gamble Heights area early Friday morning. Residents of that village irate at the turn of events, claiming that the victim, identified as Nixon Vixamar, who would have celebrated his 31st birthday on Saturday, was innocent, unarmed, and only clothed in his boxers. But Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean said the man was wanted by police following a series of complaints.
As a result, the police were able to visit the suspect's house, and a confrontation ensued, resulted in the suspect being shot to the upper thigh area. As a result, the suspect succumbed to his injuries.
ACP Dean says that the confrontation between the victim and police
was a physical confrontation.
So police officers felt threatened.
What I'm saying to you, I don't want to, because we are in the interview's early stages, and I don't want to preempt any details. Basically, I can tell you that an incident happened. Police were involved with a violent struggle with this confrontation with this young man, resulting in the man being shot.
Now, following the shooting of that suspect, police say that residents of this Haitian community threw this boulder at the police vehicle.
These vehicles are needed to police the entire country, so we cannot afford to have our vehicle off the road. So we will pursue the persons responsible for damaging the police vehicle.
Family members were emotionally distraught on the scene. Wanting answers from police. One resident said he was Vixamar's friend for more than 7 years.
I think he had a problem with his girlfriend. And she probably going to report him, and I don't know what she going to tell the man, and they actually come for him from yesterday, and eventually they come here today and they got him. But as he was running, he bust the door open and running, right? So he had no weapon on him, and they just opened fire.
This is the third police-involved shooting this week. Police shot a male suspect on Thursday who is still in hospital, and a woman led them on a high-speed chase after officers attempted to stop her, came to a halt on Wolf Road. Meanwhile, residents in the shantytown suggested that the police shooting was unwarranted. Dean responded this way.
There's not a no-go zone for police in this country. The police should be able to come in every area and effectively do their job. As you know that we have Her Majesty's coroner on the scene, matters that come to the police-involved shooting, we bring the coroners who will be leading in the investigation.
Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Police tonight are also investigating 2 separate overnight shooting incidents that left 2 men nursing wounds in hospital. Police Liaison Officer Stephen Dean is also appealing to anyone with information on these matters to contact police as soon as possible.
The first incident occurred after 9. A man was walking the Amos Ferguson Street area when he was approached by 2 men, and he was shot in the stomach area. He was rushed to hospital where he remains in serious condition. We do not have no motive for the shooting, neither do we have anybody in custody, but we are actively investigating that particular incident. And shortly after 10:30 a.m., a man was at a nightclub in the Foxville area when he was approached by someone who shot him in the shoulder, the leg, and in the lower body. As a result, he too was rushed to hospital where he remains in serious condition.
ACP Dean says while there may seem to be an increase in criminal activity, officers are combing the island to tackle the criminal element.
I can tell you our officers are working aggressively. If you look at the crime brief, you see the amount of persons who are being arrested. We are not giving up. We are not discouraged. We focus on what we are doing. We have a policing plan that we are guided by. So police on a daily basis. But as we look at incidents, if we see a spike in incidents, we sit down as professionals and we tweak our plan as the way forward. It might channel more resources in that particular area. But I can tell you, we are a group of professional Bahamians, men and women, who continually every day want to see a better Bahamas, and that's why we come and work extremely hard.
Minister of State for Legal Affairs, the Honorable Damian Gomez, has confirmed to ZNS News that per the request of the Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, he has removed himself from representing the government in the Baha Mar bankruptcy case. Minister Gomez told us that the Prime Minister indicated a few weeks ago that he wants to prevent any appearance of collusion in the case. Now, since Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senator the Honorable Alison Maynard Gibson, is the government's legal representative, State Minister Gomez indicated that she will provide instructions from the government's stance on this case. We're also receiving further clarification tonight on how court filings and proceedings in Delaware's bankruptcy court regarding Baha Mar are proceeding. Yesterday's filing in the United States was reportedly by China XM Bank, notifying the Delaware courts of their objections to Baha Mar's Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. The court notice confirms in the documentation that all of the creditors were alerted to XM Bank's intent to file. These include Bahamian companies and resort employees as well. Now, Baha Mar has gone on record saying if their Chapter 11 filing is approved in Delaware, all of their creditors will be paid what is owed. However, this latest filing by China XM Bank is objecting the Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing in the United States. To date, China XM's involvement in the Chapter 11 filing has been to seek its dismissal. XM officials say they're not seeking intervention by the U.S. court. In fact, court documents suggest China XM Bank seeks to proceed in another forum, citing that the billions owed to them is under the pre-petition credit agreement and the collateral located in the Bahamas serves as China XM security for these obligations.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the new Shell and Letty, designed for extra miles.